Hello and welcome everybody to day two of Multidimensional. I am so pleased to be here and to share my teachings and my frequency with you all. Um, I hope that you all slept well. I did see that a few people weren't feeling the greatest after the activation yesterday, so I just want to take a moment to just speak into processes and what that could potentially mean for you. So, welcome everyone. Do you just want to give me like a feel of the room? Do you want to just give me like a one if you're feeling amazing today, or a two if you're like, nah, you've been better? Like you can either pop it in the comments or you can put your hands up, either which way. Cool. So we've got some ones, two, full of a heat cold. Yay, Charlotte. Let's celebrate your heat cold. We've got a 2, 1.5, and a 2. Okay, cool. Awesome. Purging shame. Oh, that's a big one. We can speak into that later if you like. So, what is really important to remember is that, like part of my amazing gifts and part of what I really want to transmit in my teachings is that I am an activator. I am a quantum activator. And what that means is that I take you and link you up as closely as I can to your soul family, and help you establish and maintain connection. What that can mean is when I'm sharing my transmissions, even when I'm speaking and sharing stories or making you laugh, they are coded. And so they are influencing and impacting your light body, your auric field. When I do the transmissions and we do the column of ascension and you come out of that lower realm of consciousness and into a pillar of light, which is what we did yesterday, that can make you feel, that can make you purge, that can make you release. And so when we begin to release, like for me, I often get headaches. Sometimes you can get a cold. There can be like a lot of mindy stuff. There's lots of different ways that we purge. And when we come into a pathway of mastery and we really want to know, or we really decide, actually, we decide with our sovereign free will choice that we want to take a path of mastery. We want to take the path of ascension. We want to connect more with our light body. We want to connect with our soul and our guides. That means that part of the process is that they begin to release you from density. They begin to help you purge. And this can present as like illness, I will share with you a funny story, but this can present like a cold. This can present like a migraine. This is like the mind purge or the tummy purge if you end up with a tummy bug. And so a little while ago, after I had my baby, I flew up to see my nana. She lives in the far north here in New Zealand. And I went with my sister. She had just had a baby too. So both me and her went with our little babies to visit my nana. Now my nana is like high priestess, high oracle. Dahlia has met my nana. She can confirm that my nana is out the fucking gate. Anyway, so we were up there. We were staying with her for a couple of days, and nana had been growing some plasma. What is plasma? We're not sure. Anyway, it was like a distiller on the window that she had met a physicist who had taught her how to make nanoparticles of plasma. These are living, like nanoparticles of the one that she had about 4 or 5 of these around her house, but essentially you microdose them and you take small droplets of that and place it under your tongue. And this particular plasma particle that she had was the remedy for COVID. So it was like a high frequency zinc mixed with something mixed, I don't even know. Anyway, of course, we don't expect anything else at my nana's. Right next to that jug of distilled water was the actual water. And my sister and I decided to have champagne, and I don't actually drink. So it went straight to my head. She ended up vomiting, bless her heart, because she doesn't drink much either. And I was like, I know what I'll do. I'll get us a glass of water. And I filled our glasses up with plasma, and I poisoned us, both of us. And we were sick for about 6 weeks. I actually put us into a full poisoned, toxic state. And the funny part, you're like, where is this funny, Mel? You said it was a funny story. Is that I had begun working with my spiritual teacher, who I'm still with now, and I had been like, I want the upgrades, I want a fucking ruddy rah, I wanted this, that, and the other, and I was like adamant that I was going to do it. And my higher self and team oversaw this initiation because I had to release density from my body. And so how this presented was I actually ended up poisoning me and my sister. Luckily it didn't go through our breast milk. My sister's actually on warfarin and has a hole in her heart. So, by day 3 of being poisoned, we nearly went to the hospital. Like, it was fucking really bad. High temperature, vomiting, shitting, like, you name it. We had to, like, get our shit together, put our babies in our front packs and fly all the way back down the country. This is like COVID too, so people were still wearing masks. And what was really good is that the air hostesses were like, oh, you guys don't look well. And I was like, oh, we got food poisoning. And so they like upgraded our seats, they gave us food and juice, like they helped us take care of our babies when we were flying. So if you're ever at my nana's, just be really careful about what you're going to drink, because it could be poison. But the thing is that I had asked for this, and a lot of the times we are praying, we are asking, like, please upgrade me, please help me feel my soul, please connect me to my guides. We are driven by the spiritual connection. All of us who are here want this. And then how that manifests in this holy hologram that we're interfacing with often doesn't come how we think it should be. It comes however it's designed to come by your higher self and your soul family. And so, you just have to trust that these upgrades are coming, that are of the highest. They are serving you. And even though I was sick for 6 weeks, man, it was shit. I feel so much better from it, because actually when we do get food poisoning, it's one of the fastest and safest ways for us to release a lot of density really quickly. So for Charlotte, who said that she's feeling really unwell, we're just sending you love and holding you in love and blessing your purge. When we come into the mind and we get headaches, I often get a lot in my third eye and a lot at the back of my head. Now, when you begin to activate your quantum access, there is a third eye at the back of your head, at the nape, like your occipital, kind of where that bone protrudes. There is an eye that opens up there. So we just trust. We trust and we say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And for some it can be emotional, like we have big emotional releases and we just, bawl our eyes out for no reason. And we also just bless that purge too and say thank you. So today's transmission is going to be around the worlds of consciousness. And for some people here have already worked with me in my programs, I have already taught this. If you've come across this in other platforms, I would love for you just to take on the hat of like the beginner's mindset, because the second we say, oh, I already know this, oh, I've already received this, you actually shut off anything in your field to receive a new way. And I have watched multiple trainings from my teachers again and again and again. Some of the activations I've received, like 20 times. And there's always a new part of it. So if you are receiving this and you've already, you've already received it, please just come in with it like, cool, I'm going to receive a new part of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try smash out the teach part real quick and not fuck around, because I tend to waffle, and get the concept across for you the best I can and have a bit more space at the end for a bigger activation. My intention is to have the frequency go up from yesterday, and then tomorrow we want to do, I don't even know if I'm going to teach anything. I think I'm just going to do an activation and close the grid. So you are more than welcome to like jump in the comments, ask questions, la da da. if you want during this. So I'm going to share my screen. And can everybody see this? Awesome. Cool as. So I did have a piece of paper somewhere in my office that had this written down as a training, and I can't fucking find it. So we're gonna have to just, I have taught it a couple of times, so I feel like it's my guide's like, put the paper down, babe, and just, channel it. So this is actually from a book called Initiation by Elizabeth Hyatt. I don't know if anybody's read it. Highly recommend it. It's fucking amazing. I had heaps of activations from this book by reading it. So we want to make sure that this is working. It's not working. Okay, there you go. So I've got some visuals here. I'm a real visual learner. I need to see things. So what I would love for you to think about is in the beginning of all of creation. When we think about creation, we can think of a couple of things. So I'm going to refer to these things as primal forces. When we go right back to the very beginning of time, there is a primal force that gives and a primal force that receives. So we can liken these two primal forces to God, divine feminine, divine masculine. We want to understand that at the beginning of all things, this is one, and it splits into polarity. So it splits into the primal force, that which is moving, and then we need that which is receiving. Okay, because we can't have just one. We can't just always have a moving force without anything to receive it. And this actually is the first world of consciousness, because this is a form of consciousness right from the beginning of source. And if we have a look at the very fabric of all of our universe and all of this amazing holy hologram that we're living in right now, this forms the atomic structure. So when we have a look at atomic structure, we can recognize that there is a force in the center, and then outside of that is various positive and negative charges, right? Positive and negative ions. And actually each atomic structure, when it's looked down in a really, really, really small microscope, is 99.999999999% space, empty space, nothingness. Right, so this is that which is moving and that which is receiving inside of an actual atomic structure. And our hologram, our earth reality that we live in, because if we look at our table and I look right down in a really powerful microscope, we would see that made up of this wood is actually an atomic structure, that A is moving and B is 99.999% empty space. And what this is this is actually the world of consciousness of the atomic realm, moving so slowly that it creates form. Right? Is everybody with me so far? Cool. And this actually creates the foundation of all other forms. So we have the egg of life, the fruit of life, the tree of life, the seed of life, and all of these geometries that actually come from one form to another in different variations. Excuse me. And these sacred geometric shapes is actually what creates all of the fabric of the universe. Right, that even so we actually come, when we break it down, it actually comes from light, space, sound. When I took ayahuasca when I was in Peru, I could see the geometry. We had one ceremony that was during the day, the rest of them were at nighttime, and I had to get out of the teepee. It was like super hot. And funny story, I actually took all my clothes off. I was completely naked. I don't know why, but that's what I felt like doing. So and it was funny because everyone was like completely like in ceremony, and they thought that a goddess had appeared in the center of the teepee, but it was actually me just taking my clothes off because I thought I was going to die because I was so hot. But anyway, so I went outside and just went on the grass and had some fresh air. And I could actually see the flower of life, the seed of life, and the tree of life made up of every single thing. Every stone, every flower, every rock, like you name it, every single everything. I could see. I'm just gonna stop the share and just let someone into the room. Cool. And the book is called Initiation. Yeah, I will post it in my group, okay? I can't see the comments when I'm sharing screen, so I'll just make sure I come back and check it for you guys. So if we actually zoom out and have a look at this on the left-hand side of my screen, hopefully it looks exactly the same for you. This is actually the world of consciousness forming. So we have that which gives and that which receives. This splits into the world of opposites. We get light and dark, good and bad, yin and yang, male, female, positive, negative, all these charges, all this division of the actual original form separating from itself and creating duplicate versions of itself in various more complex systems. And so this is actually the geometry. In the center, we have how universes are created. And then on the right-hand side is actually a fertilized egg. So when, the saying is the universe is folded inside thee, this is what it means. We are actually the inside of our body, and when we go inward and when we learn how to receive ourselves and connect to our spiritual light, this light is inside of ourselves, not outside of ourselves, right? So we can see that the macro, like the big picture, and the micro, it's all replicating itself through this world of consciousness, this atomic structure that's made up of everything. And we are made up of this. We are the light, we are the force, and we are that which receives, because we are God consciousness expressing itself in this reality. So that's the periodic table. And I like this picture because it kind of describes, these different variations of the positive and negative ions. And, just one difference will be like hydrogen to water or carbon to copper or whatever. I'm not a fucking scientist, so that might not be right, but you catch my drift, okay? And so this is what we know of. This is the atomic structure that we play with in this reality. And no doubt in different dimensions and in different, universes, there will be different variations of this. We are carbon-based. We have a carbon-based DNA, and so we can see how the very atomic structure of our physical nature is made up of this world of consciousness, okay? And then when this consciousness begins to express itself further, we get geometry. And this is like where we would look at a molecule or an atomic structure begins to express itself and evolve into geometry. This is actually water. So this is from Dr. Isaru Emoto, who's a Japanese doctor who has passed away now, but he did a lot of amazing studies with water under microscopes. And so at the top we can see water that had, first of all, he actually just wrote thank you and wrote wisdom or whatever on the water, and then would get these photographs of what the structure of the water would look like. And then he began to speak it into it, and it kind of had the same effect. So, think about if we're blessing our water. Thank you so much, beautiful water. I love you. Fill my body up. Help me purge. Bless me with light. Imagine, like what that is doing with our primal force and our intention into the water, right? It's literally coding it up. And then we have the examples down the bottom of, and this is creating what we speak, being careful and mindful about how we say things. So we've got the examples down the bottom of, kind of lower frequency. So just a side note, I won't go too much into this because I do want to have time for Q&A, but all of this talk of global warming is that the ice is encoded. The ice holds light codes. Water has a memory, and there is a huge amount of high frequency coding that is in the ice structure that is being released and recycled through our planetary system. And if we look at the evolution and history of the planet that we have access to, we can see that it goes through these very natural cycles of melting the caps and then warming up, and then melting and warming up, and melting and warming up. And this is actually part of Gaia's evolution. And so it's just another psychological operation of that lower realm that I spoke about yesterday, portraying to humanity that this is a bad thing. Right, we've got to pay our carbon emissions, and we've got to, fund all of these, save the planet things. And actually, the planet is a consciousness. The planet is a living goddess. She knows exactly how to purge and evolve herself in co-creation with all of the worlds of consciousness that live on top of her and inside of her. And so we need to really be really mindful about what is being pumped out into our screens all the time, because there's usually a hidden agenda. So we'll come back to this now, because I just wanted to share that. So we can see through this expression of this world of consciousness evolving itself, that we actually have the ability to manipulate the structure. We are manipulating this with our thought, and we are manipulating this with our words. And so the goal would be is that we begin to really understand and witness that we're co-creating with this. And then this consciousness moves and expands and wakens up, and the next world of consciousness is the vegetable world. This is consciousness dreaming and sleeping. They've actually proven that plants sleep and dream. What they dream about, I do not know. And, the plant doesn't compare itself to the plant next door and be like, oh my gosh, that flower bloomed before I did, They just are part of that primal force, and they are part of the cyclic nature of the universe, and they just bloom when they're supposed to. And what we can see actually is that atomic structure and their geometric structure is still expanded into this next world of consciousness, because we can see the geometry in these plants, right? So it's just another formation of it. It's just another evolved consciousness of one structure. And this is an example of that sacred geometry inside fruit. Another psyop. We've been told that fruit is bad for us. We've been told that fruit has too much sugar, that we shouldn't consume too much of it, which is not true. Part of the ascension process is our physical body, and we need to recognize that fruit is the purest, most high vibrational thing that we can eat. We don't take from the plant, we don't chop down a tree to harvest its apples. Also, the water molecule inside the fruit, because they're really high amounts of water, have been actually filtered through the tree, filtered through the plant, filtered through all the branches. And then when we're left over is literally the fruits of life that bringeth forth God in our body. And so, I would encourage you to actually eat more fruit. The molecular structure is a monosaccharide, which is one sugar, a simple sugar, and our body cells on a cellular structure can actually uptake that energy really quickly. It's a very high frequency. Whereas, if we were to look at, something like juice, processed juice, it's a polysaccharide, which means many sugars. Complex, difficult for our body to break up. It takes longer. So this geometry is in nature. This geometry is in our body. A lot of these sacred signs have been hijacked by that lower realm, and we look at like a pentagram as like Satan's star or whatever, but it's actually not. That's just an inversion, because it's upside down when you see it in that way. Whereas in these ways, this is the most purest form. And here's another example of sacred geometry in food that we should be eating. And another one, you can really see the flower of life here, which is just amazing. And this was a test done by a high school in America where they put these two plants in glass containers and they gave them both the same amount of fertilizer, water, sunshine, da da da. But the students were told to say I love you to one plant and bully the other plant. I hate you, you're a fucking piece of shit, you're an ugly little plant, look at you skanky little thing, you can't grow, like whatevs, I don't know. But actually, in the same conditions, one died. Right? So this is us manipulating this hologram. This is our God consciousness influencing this hologram, influencing worlds of consciousness that are asleep. You know, like talking to your plants helps them grow. Imagine what talking to our children and our friends and our colleagues are like. I received this amazing download. My husband and I were in bed chatting away, and I said, imagine that God had given you an angel to look after. Imagine he was like, here's an angel. This angel is going to come to earth and you're going to teach this angel what it's like to be a human being. Like, how would you treat that angel? How would you speak to that angel? And we were talking about these ways in which we would do this. And I was like, that is our children. God has gifted us angels for us to guide and nurture and look after, and we need to treat them and speak to them as if they are actual living angels and help uplift and influence their field. Now, we can go deeper into this in my program when we talk about quantum architecture and actually influencing the fields, because this is how I kind of create stuff. And I go in and I change what I see, which is what everybody can do. It's not just something that's magical, right? So this world of consciousness, here's another example of an apple, the same apple. They left it on a teacher's desk. They told one that it was horrible and they hated it. They told one that they loved it. This was just after a few days, one started to mold. And so it's just another example. And I really want to share these examples with you because it's proof that we can manifest shit. It's proof that we can actually create this reality and co-create and interface with all the stuff that's happening around us. Just because we can't see this primal force and these atomic structures and the sacred geometry, it is there. It's a living consciousness. We are a part of it, right? And then what happens is when this consciousness evolves itself, because we're all evolving, all of us are evolving, then it reaches the next greatest potential. And that is the animal kingdom. The consciousness has now woken up. It can move around. And it has primary senses. It can smell and touch and feel. It has sexual desire. It wants to reproduce. It will hunt. Right? And so we have this next world of consciousness that is awake. Now, just like the worlds of consciousness before this, it's influenced by its environment. I'm just going to check the room for 1 second so that I don't miss anybody out, and we are good. Awesome. Cool bananas. And back to the share. Thank you for waiting. And so this world of consciousness has the Kundalini life force. Right, it's been proven a number of times that animals have sex just for pleasure. And so this has all of the worlds of consciousness that we spoke of before. It is made up of this atomic structure. It is made up of the vegetable world. And then it evolves itself into this primal force. And we see this split and come into this incredible variations all over the world. And, you know, like all over the multiverse. We don't actually know, like, what exists in other planets. We can imagine, but this is woken up. When this consciousness evolves, when this consciousness reaches its next evolution, it suddenly comes out of being conscious, like being awake. It's moving. It's still dreaming and sleeping. But the next world of consciousness is humanity. This is consciousness saying, I know that I'm asleep. I know when I'm awake. It still has all the sensory organs. We can see, touch, smell, feel. We've even got heightened senses, clairvoyance, and things like that, clairsentient, where we can feel energy. But this is consciousness aware of being conscious. We suddenly think and know, I am that. I am awake. I am aware. And this is what we're witnessing right now with humanity, is that humanity is coming out of a sleep state, out of a lower world of dream consciousness, and into a world of primal forces, into a world of where they're awakening their senses beyond their five senses, into a world where they're like, hey, I am aware that I'm aware. And all of those worlds of consciousness are building and evolving one from the other. Always, always gaining, never losing. We never lose the atomic structure. We never lose the geometry that's inside of ourselves. Our DNA swirl is a sacred geometric. These are conscious. This is living. Then we go into the primal where we're moving. We've got this Kundalini energy. We want to take care of our offspring. And then we are aware that we're aware. And this is the next critical shift. This is what we're witnessing in humanity. We're seeing people coming out of the sleep state and into the consciousness. And then we realize that the next evolution of this is where we activate ourselves into the quantum field. We activate ourselves into higher states of bliss consciousness, and we begin to actively co-create with all of the worlds of consciousness that we come from. And we start to realize that we can manipulate and manifest and engage with and create our heart's desire so we can live in bliss, so that we can bring forward these beautiful ideas from the source light supreme God consciousness through our beautiful being, through our temple, which is our body, and bring this into the earth like I spoke of yesterday. And then the next step, the evolution of this, is experiencing yourself without your atomic structure. This is leaving the atom behind. This is going into meditation and accessing the quantum field and interfacing with a higher realm of consciousness through our non-physical. So we start as non-physical, we build the blocks up of all these realities and all these realms of consciousness, all the way to this apex point where we realize that we're awake, we're conscious of being conscious, and then we want to evolve. And we want to evolve through our non-physical, bring this light into our field of light, our aura, our light body, our soul, integrate more parts of ourselves, expand our consciousness into the field of everything that exists, and bring that light back into our physical reality. And this is what I'm here for. I'm here to take you out of your physicality. We're here to take the atomic structure out of the body and into the field. And experience and remember that we're made up of all of these worlds of consciousness. We are the apex. We are the top of the pyramid. We are the light that shines within. We are in this world, but we are not of this world. That's what that means. We're not of that lower world. We are actually made up of light. We are solar beings, solar angels. We have the light of God inside of ourselves, and it's our job to take part in humanity's great awakening, to take part in our evolution and our ascension, and access these parts that are inside of ourselves. So my question to you is, do you want to come? Are you ready to go? Give me a 1 in the comments if you are ready. Yeah, 11111. Awesome. I'm just going to zoom up on the comments and just check if there's anything. Awesome, cool, easy peasy, sweet. Has anyone got any questions, or are you feeling pretty good? 1 at 111. Yeah, it's 11 past 1 in New Zealand, right on time. I told you guys at the start of the call that whenever I look at the friggin' time, it's a sacred time. Might do the replay later as my head is sore. Oh, of course, darling. You switch off, go have some water, take care. The replay will be up today. The next part is going to be the activation. And I would love for you guys to just explore. I want to stay though. Well, Anne-Marie, I would love for you to ask your higher self. Higher self, what would you like me to do? Is it in the highest, most loving thing for me to leave and rest and maybe have a little nap? Or is it in the highest to receive the activation? Because either way, you're going to get it. And then make your choice from your higher self. That's what I do. And then we begin to actually live this way, which is awesome. And this is how I live. I literally, it says you'll be fine. Okay, perfect. Well, I'm not going to say I'm going to go gentle because I really want to do a big transmission today. So we're going to just get into it. So I'm just going to have some water. I would love for you to have some too. I love water. Thank you, water. When I breastfeed my baby, I tell my baby, my body, that my milk is liquid light. And I say that it's the highest, most purest, supreme liquid light for my baby. And I code up my milk to support him. And he is literally the most cutest angel baby ever. Says every mum ever, but he's such a high frequency being. He is literally an amazing little soul. So if you've had some water, I would love for you to get comfortable and just relax your body. We're going to do an activation, and you're more than welcome to take yourself off camera if you feel comfortable and lay down. If you don't want to lay down and you just want to sit, and then that's also perfect. Allow yourself to feel your energy. Closing down your eyes now if that feels safe for you as you breathe slowly and gently into your heart and out. That's right. Just feeling your body now. Thank you, body. You're amazing, conscious being. And breathe. We will begin by visualizing the most beautiful radiant light from the center of the universe. Visualize the supreme God light, this body of light, this large, infinite source of light. Visualize and imagine as you focus on this light, you call it to you, calling this light down, your pillar, your column of ascension. That's right. Visualize and imagine as you call this light down, this liquid light, this crystalline light, it connects to your soul star, your guides, your council of light. That's right. Visualize and imagine now that you call this light down even further into your higher self, the highest, most loving version of yourself. Breathe. Good. Visualize this light pouring down your column now and into your crown, opening up your own channel, your own connection to source light. Breathe in this light into your mind now. See this light going into your third eye, pouring down your throat, your neck, your shoulders, arms and hands. And every time you breathe in and out, you relax yourself even deeper. You soften, calling this light down now into your heart, into your lungs, relaxing your heart, down into your solar plexus, into your belly, calling this light down now into your hips, your legs, your knees and feet. Breathe. And visualize and imagine that you send this light down now, all the way down through the pillars, the layers, the structure of Gaia. Visualize and imagine that you call this light down now into the center of Gaia, into the crystal core. That's right. Visualize and imagine that you connect and ground down now into this crystal core, your column of ascension. Breathing into Gaia's heart, your heart and the heart of the universe. Aligning yourself. Breathe. That's right. And as you stand in your column, visualize your light. Imagine yourself as a tiny seed, the smallest light, the very fabric of the universe. Visualize and imagine yourself as a seed of light, and all around you is nothingness, darkness and space. You have no fear, you feel safe, you remember that you are the light, and it is in the nothingness that you can expand into this safe nothingness, this womb of no thing where all exists, all is created. This primal force, you breathe and expand. Visualize and imagine yourself expanding outward in every direction. That's right. And you see and notice that you yourself begin to take up forms of geometry inside of the sphere of light, expanding into the no thing, the space. That's right. Breathe. And visualize and imagine now that as you continue to expand and evolve your light, this geometry begins to create roots like a tree. Visualize and imagine now that this seed of light in the womb of no thing is in the soil of Gaia. And as you extend out, you're placing roots down and grounding down deep into the earth, into Gaia, into the mother, into Papatuanuku Arera. Breathe and visualize and imagine now that as you ground down, you expand up and up, and begin to express yourself. Visualize yourself expanding like a massive tree. From this tiny seed, you have formed into this ginormous tree. Feel yourself expand up and receive the light of our sun, our stargate. Feel the gravity against your bark. See yourself still as this beautiful tree. And time as a tree is experienced differently. You see the seasons come and go as you bring your energy inwardly and outwardly. You feel the connection of the vegetable world that you belong to, this kingdom of God, as you feel the electric connections in your roots to the subtle realms beneath you. Breathe. And as you begin to express yourself and evolve, you take your consciousness out of this tree and place a paw, a hoof, a claw on the ground and witness yourself as a primal force of the animal kingdom, lurking and slinking through this beautiful forest. Feel the ground crunch and cold beneath your feet. Feel your senses heightened, your sensory world exploding as you notice every sound. You can smell things you've never smelt before. This instinct about you, this guiding light, this knowing inside of you, this primal force is expressing itself through you as your spirit animal in the kingdom of God that is the animal kingdom. Breathe and allow yourself to explore and be as you continue moving forward. With every step, you realize that your hoof, your claw, your paw is changing. You're evolving into a human being. Your consciousness is waking up. You still feel the seed of light inside of you expand into sacred geometry and create the fabric of your very being. You breathe this light. You see and feel the vegetable world and the mineral world as a part of your very structure. Breathe. You see and feel the animal kingdom and this instinctual nature, this Kundalini energy, the sensory world. You are part of it all. You're experiencing it all in your body. This temple, the most intelligent, incredible vessel that is your body, that is interfacing with and connected to all of the worlds of consciousness. Breathe. And now lift yourself up out of your body. That's right. Visualize and imagine yourself as another seed of light, a bigger sphere of light. As we lift up and enter the quantum field, into the field of all. And as you are in this field, we call on the highest, most loving guides to be with you now. as we journey to a temple of light. You see a huge temple appear before you, where you are welcomed at the door. And you enter this beautiful temple of light into a massive courtyard. You notice that there is no ceiling on this courtyard, and the sky is dark and bright above you. And sitting in the center of this courtyard is an ascended master. This ascended master is your guide, has been guiding you and working diligently with your higher self and your council of light. This ascended master has a great light about them, and you notice that they have a very active and bright heart portal. You are invited to sit across from this ascended master, as this ascended master would like to give you a gift, a transmission from their heart portal to your heart portal, allowing you to activate more of your heart and live through your heart's consciousness to support you in every way in your ascension, your evolution, and for your heroic human journey. You are so loved by this ascended master as you peacefully sit across from them and relax. Breathe into your heart as you visualize this opening like a portal of light, and this ascended master begins to transmit light from their heart to yours. Breathe. 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 Breathe and allow this light to expand you. Breathe. As the transmission slows down now, and you receive the perfect amount of light and love into your heart, you bow to the Master. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. As they bow back and thank you for your contribution to this planet's ascension. A new memory has been activated inside of you as you remember who you are. You remember that you came here to spread your light and live from your heart. As you make your way now out of the temple, out of the front door of the temple and down the stone steps of light, all the way back into your body, back into your body and back into your body and fully back into your body in the here and now, fully present in the here and now, wide awake. Breathe into your heart and feel the transmission of the light still tingling in your heart as you extend this light down into Gaia and back up into the heavens and into your column of ascension, your pillar of light. That's right. Slowly wiggling your fingers and toes as you fully come back now. Fully come back into your body. Very gently opening your eyes. Very gently coming back. Being very gentle with yourself. Stretching and moving your body in any way that you like. Having some water if you have it close. And just coming back onto the camera now if you were off, and allowing yourself to be fully present. Sometimes what can happen with these activations is that your team can leave you in the quantum field. And when you work with me in my container quantum, which begins in October, some of the activations we will do at nighttime, or I will be guiding you to listen to them at night so that you can go to bed and into that field, right? And receive as you sleep, which is super powerful because, you know, we are leaving our bodies every night when we're sleeping, and we're going into this quantum field and we're charging up. And if you can't remember those experiences, it doesn't mean that they're not happening. It just means that, you know, consciously your team are overseeing what you have access to and what you can remember. Is everyone feeling okay? Yeah. I would love a share or two if anyone is willing to come off mute and just share how that activation was for them. Me. Don't all jump all at the same time. Ozzy, unfortunately, you came on. I let you in the room right at the very end, so you'll have to go back and watch the replay because we are closing up. So does anybody want to share how the activation was for them? Don't all jump at once. Head and heart are buzzing. Yeah. So just be mindful to drink a lot of water, because when we do these activations, spacey. It does take a little bit for your kind of like consciousness to catch up, and often like what they're saying is that the activation will integrate, overseen by your higher self and your own soul family. So, they're saying like 3 to 4 days is a really normal time to integrate these one activations. You guys have had 2 in a row and you're going to get another one tomorrow. Did anyone experience or feel like their spirit animal? Was that really palpable for you? Mine was like a black jaguar. Does anyone jump in the comments and tell me what your spirit animal was if you remember? Holly says it was so beautiful. A lion, a white lion. Ooh, yeah. I love that. I was 2 animals. Is that what you mean, Ida? What? Tell me. So this is an amazing example because a black panther and an owl, so you're flying and walking at the same time. This is like actually amazing because you're experiencing yourself as multidimensional. That is like actually what you are. You can split your consciousness and feel yourself as multiple versions of yourself all at one time, which is the whole point of the event. I transformed into a bird at one point too. Yes. Oh, that gave me goosebumps down my back. I love that. So we can see that we are made up of all of these worlds of consciousness. They are us. I'm going to have to do this again. There was a point I totally lost consciousness. Yeah, I could feel that. And just remember, like I said yesterday, it's perfect. It's whole and complete. A lot of my ascension journey working with my mentors has been me totally coming back at the end of an activation and not remembering one thing. Like, and I've had to go back and listen again and again and again. I felt shivers all through the transmission. Awesome. So I'll speak into that quickly before we jump off. But when we receive like physical sensations, like we get goosebumps or we get like shivers up our spine, like the heebie-jeebies or whatever, this is actually the frequency. Often it's like a frequency of truth because truth is such a high frequency and it opens up the crystalline light inside of your atomic structure. It is so you can receive more light. Isn't that amazing? And often that's why when somebody says something that's like real out the gate and like maybe your mind is like, I don't know how I know that's true, I just know. Like I believe you. And you kind of like get shivers down your spine or like, you get activated by someone doing a really powerful transmission and then you get activated. This is your crystalline light body. This is your atomic structure. That's that world of consciousness opening up and awakening so that you can actually receive light that is pumping through our universe right now because we're connecting to our light body. It's your physical body. And look at Ida's computer screen. She's literally going into the light right now. She is only light. So this is what we're doing. And so it's amazing. If you're getting those physical sensations, it means that you're getting activated. That means that this is working. This is happening on a non-physical level, right? Frequency doesn't lie. You can't fake it. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to read these questions. Thank you, says Sarah. I've always wondered what the shivers were. Haha, like a physical knowing. Yeah. And I feel like, Sarah, you're quite clairsentient, so you've already got the feeling turned on. This feels good. This feels bad. You're having a feeling emotional ascension. And so, like your gift, this feeling body, the clairsentient, you've got it on. So amplify it. That is your gift. You already have it. So let's work on how can we practice expanding that muscle, and begin mastery with it. Because it gets to the point now where if there's one little second fucking thing off that's out of it, I will not do something. I'll be like, nah. And I went to my little baby's starting daycare soon, and I went yesterday, and it was like the slight most off frequency. And I told my husband, he was like, oh my God, because like the wait list is like 6 months. And I was like, I'll give it another go today. Okay, I'll give it, and today was fine. But yesterday was a bit, it was just intense, right? We're real homebodies here. David said, I felt the separation of I felt the separation of my body as my consciousness expanded. I felt emptier inside my body and fuller above my crown. What an amazing experience. Um, so that's awesome, perfect, whole, and complete. And if you experience not much at all, just know that that's also perfect. You know, these things evolve as you evolve, and your team and your higher self will only allow you to experience that which is the highest, you know, because you're always loved. You're always taken such good care of. You know, you're precious, and your evolution is precious, and your ascension is precious and so important. And so, you know, I will make sure that you remember that because you are so important. So today's challenge, whoever wants to enter the draw to win my $10,000 scholarship giveaway, I'm going to have one thing for you to do, and it is to screenshot, I'll put it in the group, my multidimensional picture, and either share it on your Facebook or Instagram and tag me in it. You can say anything you want, like getting multidimensional with Mel or whatever, but I will see them up on my thing, and that'll be placing in the draw. I'm going to be drawing the winner tomorrow, and there's also going to be maybe some other surprises. So I would love for you to be live. For those on the replay, if you do this, you'll still enter the draw, even if you can't make it, because I know that a lot of people are working and the time doesn't work out. So, you know, I'm going to be really considerate and thoughtful of that as well. So I'm just going to take a quick picture for my social media. We good. Okay, cool. Thanks, team. Have a beautiful day. Drink plenty of water. Place your feet on the earth. I'm here if you need me, if you want a message or you need some support with your integration, or share it into the group so that others may, you know, be supported by it. I love you so much. I can't wait to see you tomorrow for our last and final activation. Take extremely good care, and yay. Mwah.
Okay. Now I've missed out.